Hello and welcome to a mod development update video for, well, you know, the mod that we've been working on. That's the Azura's Coast Guild of Mages, and specifically today, we're going to be playtesting the interiors that we've designed over the past few weeks. We've designed 4 interiors: the Groundskeeper's Cottage, the Dockworker's Shack, and the 2 main interiors so far for the actual Guild of Mages compound: the Banquet Hall and kitchens, storage tower, the guildmaster's office, and the guild guard chambers. So that's what we're going to be playtesting today, and if you didn't see our last video, basically we've been developing a new chapter of the Mages Guild in the Azura's Coast, and I would strongly recommend you check out our first mod testing video that covers the playtesting the exterior and the first interior that we did, which was the guard barracks. So, anyway, with that all out of the way, let's go ahead and hop in game and just, you know, see how these interiors look in game. Alright, here we are. We're just going to go ahead and just jump straight to the actual Mages Guild compound. So, hold on, got a few lag spikes. And here we are. We're going to just check out the main guild hall first, before moving on to the rest of the interiors. And here we have our banquet hall. This is the first interior that you'll encounter when entering the Mages Guild, and basically this is where all the students and researchers will meet to have their meals. My idea for this banquet hall was, you know, sort of, you know, one of those wizard schools, basically, you know, kind of like Harry Potter. I've never actually seen the Harry Potter movies, but I imagine it's something like this, where you have the students sitting around this table here, and then you have the, you know, the headmaster, or, well, the staff actually, would be sitting over here. And the chapter headmaster would actually be sitting right here at the students' table, just sort of, you know, at the head, making sure the lower-ranked students are behaving. Probably the students here would be apprentices and journeymen, where you know, where the staff are probably masters of various schools of magic, like enchanting, alchemy, alteration, destruction, illusion, so on and so forth. And here we have our kitchen. It seems to be fairly nice looking. Cluttering on top of the cupboards isn't too bad. I mean, it doesn't stand out as much as I thought it would. And, oh yes, I should mention that I used a rug, actually, as basically a runner for the middle of the banquet table. So, you know, that's a rug from Tamriel Data that I've just sort of repurposed here. And obviously we don't have any food on the plates here, but we have a ton of food just in the center of the banquet table, which I think looks pretty nice. We do have a lectern up here, but this is actually a DR lectern, or just a Fin D lectern, I guess, which is a bit of style mixing. It turns out there is actually an Imperial lectern that we could have used instead, but that's like deep in the Tamriel data resources, and I didn't realize it was there before. Now, another thing I do want to point out is we have wash basins at each entrance, where students or staff can wash their hands. There's a bit of soap, there's cloth. So, you know, if you're coming up from the dorms, which are down here, and you're coming to dinner, you can wash your hands in the basin before, you know, sitting down to, you know, whatever meal. And we have the other wash basin right here. A bit of decorating here and there. And this leads up to the offices and the guildmaster's office and all that, which we'll get to here in a moment. But first, there is a storage tower that's connected to this interior. So this is where all the supplies and all that are stored. We have Kwama eggs, because there is an egg mine, like, right next door. And just a ton of other stuff. And so far, I think this looks pretty good. We are getting a few lag spikes, though. That's just, from, I think, the per pixel lighting. Not necessarily actual performance issues. This interior cell only has about 780 objects, I think. So that's not too bad. That shouldn't really cause any major frame rate issues on the majority of systems out there. But yes, so far everything looks pretty good. We've got this crane, which lifts crates from the bottom floor up to the top, because otherwise, this is a pretty narrow and rickety stairwell. I don't know if you'd actually want to, like, bring a crate or a barrel up through this, like, manually. I don't think so. So yes, that's our banquet hall. I do think it looks pretty good. Besides the lectern, which I want to replace, I don't know if there's any other things I'd change here. I don't see any major issues. It would be kind of neat to have some sort of, like, heraldry, like a Mage's Guild shield-like thing, maybe hanging on the fireplace, but I don't think an asset for that actually exists at the moment, so that's just something that would be nice to have, but not necessarily, essential for us to have. Also, in case you didn't notice, we do have some health potions just, stacked into the wine racks here, because this is a Mage's Guild, and the students sometimes work in the kitchen as, sous chefs. They're not allowed to actually cook anything anymore, because they kept trying to use the cooking time as, experiments for alchemy, and accidentally causing explosions. So they're not allowed to cook anymore, but they do still occasionally cause some incidents. So, we've got health potions over here in case they need it. Right, I think that's everything in here, so we're going to go ahead and go up to the offices, which is on the second floor. Well, here we have the second floor, and a little reading nook just off to the side here. And here we have the main hallway, and I do think that this is a pretty academic looking hallway. I'm actually pretty proud of how this looks. Doesn't this just look like something that you'd see in an academic institution? It's really nice looking, and this connects to the guildmaster's office right down there, and the guild guide's chamber right here, which also kind of just doubles as a study. There's a ton of books in here, but this is not the main library. The main library is actually going to be downstairs in the basement. So this is basically just like a mixed guild guide room and a study room, with various, documents scattered about and scroll work for enchanting. And, again, I do think that this has come out pretty well, actually. Just, look at all that. That looks pretty good. So the guild guide will probably be standing right about here. And that'll allow, you know, transportation to all the other guild halls in Morrowind. So if the player were to, you know, teleport in here, they'd probably come in right about here, I think. You know, once we actually plug in all the NPCs and everything. But just getting a closer look at our hallway, you know, we got a ton of shelves here and some cabinets. Not to mention some paintings. And again, the academic look and feel, I think, is definitely here. And that was what I was, you know, trying to achieve with this upper level of the Mages Guild. So this all looks pretty nice. Down here we have the guild guide bedroom. You know, the guild guide has to sleep somewhere, so this is where they sleep. I have a little bit of clutter. And of course a half closet. And this is the guildmaster's office. So this is where the guildmaster would be. She would probably be, you know, standing just behind the desk here. And we have some more shelves built in. To just sort of get that academic look and feel. Though she does have her own stock of, you know, drinks and everything. It's right over here, along with some books on alchemy and enchanting. She is a master level enchanter, so I've been designing the character in my head, and so far, you know, I got that she's probably the not only the guildmaster, but also probably the head teacher of enchanting at this particular institution of the Mages Guild. So she has a writing desk right over here, with some, you know, scrolls on the shelves that she probably uses for enchanting. Some soul gems. She probably meets with students, hence there's, you know, 2 chairs here. And of course we've got a bit of incense burning. Which, you know, I really love that old data asset. You know, that incense is just fantastic. But here we have the guildmaster's bedroom. This is her private bedroom, which would probably be locked under normal circumstances, but you know, we haven't added any locks yet, so. There's also an enchanting table in here that she uses to help with enchantments. Again, more soul gems and scrolls that can be used for enchanting. She has her own private breakfast nook, with some pastries, naturally. There's a wash basin for her to wash up in. And, of course, a cozy little fireplace. And, you know, really, I do think that overall the design here works pretty well. Like, you can imagine this as, like, a headmaster's office, can't you? I mean, I think so. I can imagine it's like just a headmaster's office. And, you know, this being kind of an academic institution almost. It is sort of, you know, supposed to be a bit of a academy / research mages guild. So yeah, I'm really happy with how this interior has turned out. It has over 900 objects in it, actually. I think 921 to be exact. So this is actually our largest interior built so far, in terms of object count, even though it is technically, you know, not as big as the interior downstairs. But yeah, I can't think of any major notes of things to change so far in the Mages Guild. I mean, in terms of this interior and the, you know, offices upstairs, I think everything looks just pretty good, actually. I don't really think we need anything else in these interiors, except maybe changing out the lectern. because we have a DR lectern right here, and we could replace that with a RM lectern, which would make more sense for this environment, or a calm R lectern. But yeah, you know, I think that this all looks pretty good, though if you did see anything that might need touching up, you know, do let me know in the comments. But anyway, we've got 2 more interiors to check out, including the Groundskeeper's Cottage and the Dockworker's Shack, so we're going to need to walk down to the docks, so let's just, you know, go ahead and do that. Alright, so let's just go down to the Groundskeeper's Cottage, which is right here. And let's check out this interior. So here we are. This is a fairly simple, you know, 1-room abode. It's our Groundskeeper's Cottage. She has her own little workshop right here, where she might do maintenance on, you know, some of the stuff from the yard. There's a potted plant, some rope, nails, and all that. She's got a nightstand here with a book on avoiding danger. A very tiny kitchenette. A little dining room, or table I should say, fireplace. And there is a loft here, so let's just turn off collision and, you know, fly up here. So there's a bit of storage just right up in the loft. This is not a particularly large interior. I think this interior is about 150 objects. So, not a whole lot up here. And we got, of course, a ladder that can be swung down to provide access to the loft. And that's pretty much it. I don't see any major issues. I don't know if we should have something on top of these cupboards. Do you think that looks a little too plain at the moment? I don't know. I really detest, you know, empty space, but yeah, sometimes a little bit of empty space is realistic. I think this all looks alright. So that just leaves one last interior, and that is our Dockworker's shack down at the docks. So let's just real quick just run all the way down there. Should probably increase speed. So here we are, down at the docks. And we've got our Dockworker's shack. So this is another tiny interior. It's only about 120 objects hand placed. We've got a makeshift table. Nothing too fancy. A sort of makeshift, you know, shelving unit here, or set of shelving units. Not very many books, though there are a few. This is a Dunmeri shack, so you'll notice there are just a couple of religious texts on here, because that would make sense. I'm not 100% sure about these lights, though. These are the Oak data lights. I'm thinking of replacing those with a more basic light source, like just the square paper blue lanterns. You know, having those hanging instead of these. But I don't know. So, don't see any major issues in here, except for the lanterns that I want to replace. I think that's it. So, yeah, those were our 4 interior cells. That was about 21 development hours to build in the CS. And roughly about, let's say, 1600... just under 2,000 hand-placed objects. Oh gosh, these Kaguti. You two are just... Every time I come through here, you two are just right there. So yes, that's pretty much it for today's mod development update and testing session. Next time, we're probably going to finish up the interiors, so we still have a ton of interiors to do in the Mages Guild itself. We have the library, we have the dorms, the staff chambers, the laboratories, the alchemy cave underneath the Mages Guild. All that is stuff that we're still building, and in the next development update, we will, just take a look at all that. But I'm pretty happy with what we've got so far. I mean, we've got 5 interiors, the Groundskeeper's Cottage, the Guard Barracks, the Dockworker's Shack, and the 2 interiors for the Mages Guild, the Banquet Hall, and the offices and all that. So I think this is turning out to be a pretty, exciting looking mod. And it will take a significant amount of work still, probably a couple of months at the very least to finish up development. Probably more than that actually, because I have a ton of quests that I want to design, and that's going to take a bit of time. Well, I imagine that sometime this year we'll probably get this out, and I'm still sort of writing up the storylines in my head and doing the character design. But once this is all done, I think this will be a fantastic addition to the game, assuming we can actually finish it and not get dominated by all the feature creep. But yes, again, for those of you who don't know, the actual construction of the Mages Guild, all the the hand placing of objects and the detailing of the interiors and all that. We've been doing that in a special series called the Morrowind Mod Making Series on Patreon. If you want to see more of that, you can always check out our Patreon page and support us to get access to those videos. But anyway, that is it for today. So as always, thanks for watching, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy modding!